So, everyone knows that annual credit reports are supposed to be free, but are they really? Find out coming up. Hey everybody, Will Frazier here, your credit expert, giving you the credit tips you need to get your credit back on track, because what goes down must come up. And if you want to learn more information about how to improve your credit, how to get ready to purchase a new home and get credit worthy for a mortgage, or just trying to increase your credit score for whatever the reason may be, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get notified of every video I drop like this. So, you, just like everybody, have heard that annualcreditreport.com is the place to go to get your free credit reports. And of course, everybody likes free, so those are the reports that everybody goes to when they're trying to get their credit reports. But the question at hand today is, are they really free? So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know that yes, as far as money goes, they are still free, but there is something they will cost you, and I'm going to explain that to you once we get over to the computer screen and I can show you what's going on at annualcreditreport.com as far as what it will cost you. And not to mention, if you wait until the end of the video, you'll see exactly what I use myself and what I use for all of my customers in order to get their credit reports and scores. That is, in my opinion, way better than the annualcreditreport.com. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out and see what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so we're over here at annualcreditreport.com. As you can see, this is the place where you can get your free annual credit reports once a year. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, as you can see, they have allowed everyone to get a free weekly report online through April 2021, which of course is very great that you can get your credit report more frequently to check up on it. And again, that is going to be for all 3 credit bureaus. Now we're going to go through the steps that take you to where you get your credit reports, and that will be right here. Request your free credit reports. Now you have the ability to mail in a form to get your credit reports. You can call to request them, and you can also get your credit reports right here online and download them. But the important thing that I want you to see here that they mentioned, because a lot of people come to me and they get this confused thinking that they will be able to get their credit scores with their credit reports. And as you can see right here, your free annual credit report does not include credit scores, and this is on their website, so it's not just coming from me. This is what they said themselves. Now I do believe they give you the option to upgrade and get your credit scores through the 3 credit bureaus, but I do believe you have to pay some type of fee to get all 3 of your scores. And of course, those credit scores are going to be important, because if you're like most people that come to my channel trying to figure out how to fix their credit so that they can get a house, they are going to check all 3 of your credit bureaus when they try to approve you for the house, but they are also going to be looking at all 3 of your credit scores. So if you don't have your credit scores, you may be able to see all of the information on your credit report, but you won't know how that translates into your score, and you won't know if your score is close to or far from where it is supposed to be in order for you to get approved for the house. And the credit score that you have is important to get in the house, as well as the items on your credit report. So all of those things are important, and they're letting you know here that they do not include the scores. And they even go out of the way to mention that monitoring your credit reports regularly is an important part of being in control of your finances. So even they say that it is important to monitor your credit on a regular basis, which is probably why during the pandemic they allowed you to get your credit reports weekly. But again, you want to get scores and reports on a regular basis to have the best chances of improving your credit score, your finances, staying on top of everything, dealing with identity theft, and making sure you can track progress while you are trying to improve your credit score for whatever the reason may be. So we're going to go ahead and hit request your credit reports so we can see what you have to go through in order to get them. And as you can see here, you just fill out this basic information: first name, last name, birthday, social, your current address, and your previous address. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this stuff out and get you guys to the next screen so we can see what else they're gonna ask for. And now we're gonna go ahead and hit next. And as you can see here, you can request which credit reports you want. Of course, you're going to go ahead and check all 3 so that you can get them all at once. Now, I have heard some people say instead of requesting your credit reports all at once, you should go ahead and stagger them. Or in other words, you should get Experian in January, then about 3-4 months later get TransUnion, and then about 3 to 4 months later get Equifax. Now people say to do this so that you can get your reports throughout the year, more than once a year, so that you can keep better track of your credit, but that really doesn't work. Of course, right now with you being able to get them weekly, this won't apply, but after this goes away, the problem is when you're trying to stagger out those credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, you think you are looking at the most up-to-date information, but in reality, each credit bureau usually has different information for you. If you have a car loan from Navy Federal reports to all three, so of course all three bureaus would have that account. The problem comes when some smaller credit unions like a Guardian Credit Union or whatever is close to you, they may only report to one credit bureau or two. So while you're thinking you're seeing up-to-date information every time you stagger it out, you may be seeing different information if you have collection companies. Those collection companies may only report to one bureau and not the others, or they may report to two and not this one. So you really never know. So you really can't say that you're seeing, the most up-to-date information on your credit report when you stagger them out, because it's not always the same information on these three bureaus. So really you're seeing a whole different set of information, and if anything changed on one of the bureaus that you're not currently seeing, that information will not be known to you until next year when you come around and get the Experian one. So I'm just pointing that out because a lot of people think that that is a smart way to deal with your credit using the annual reports. However, that is not the best way to do it because it's not really beneficial. And instead of trying to stagger the free reports, that's why it's better to have access to your credit reports every month with refreshes on each bureau every month, so that you can really see what has changed on that individual bureau with those individual accounts on that bureau every month. And now we're going to go ahead and hit next, go to the next screen. And boom, right now we're on the Experian credit report, and you can see that they ask identity verification questions. So you have to answer these questions in order to get to the next screen and look at your credit reports. So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions and continue. And right here you can see your credit reports. You can print them out, and you can also, as they mentioned, add your FICO score for free. Now with Experian, they're saying that you can upgrade this report and get your FICO score for free, because as I mentioned before, they do not give you a FICO score. Now, one important thing that I want to point out about this credit report is that when you try to print it, you will see how long these annual credit reports can really be. So right now we're going to go ahead and hit print your report, and we're going to hit print again. You can see here that the Experian credit report has 95 pages. So imagine you trying to, for your first time, work on your credit. You go to the annualcreditreport.com because they're free and everyone loves free, and then you have to print out 95 pages for one credit bureau, and then you have to read it and decipher what everything means, and then try to start working on your credit. Not to mention, you still have to go to the other two credit bureaus because this is only Experian, and you have to get those reports as well, print them out, save them, and then at that point you will have about 300 pages to read through just to work on your credit. And you would have to come back to this to look at it every month if you are actually working on your credit, and then you won't be seeing updated information because you're only seeing this once a year. But again, you will be able to see any changes that happen weekly. But would you want to come and go through another 95 pages every week? I'm assuming that the answer to that is no, but I could be wrong. So now we're back over at annualcreditreport.com, and the very next thing we want to do is get your next report or finish. So we're going to click that, and it asks me if I want to leave my Experian credit report without creating an account with them. Of course, they're trying to upsell me to go ahead and get products with Experian. Free or not, it's still an upsell, but we're going to go back to annualcreditreport.com. And right now it's saying TransUnion is the next one up, so we're going to get your next credit report. Right now it's loading up my information over here, and right now it's saying that my progress is 0%, step 1 of step 3. So again, I do have to enter some of my information. And now on the next screen, waiting for it to load, and now they're saying I'm on step 3 of 3 now, 75% done, and I have to answer some security questions. So let me answer these and then we'll move on. And now I have access to my credit report after answering those security questions for the second time for this second credit bureau. And as you can see here for the credit score, they do not once again give you a credit score, but they do ask you if you would like to see your credit score, and then you can move on to whatever offers that they have for you here. So when we click on this link, you can see they take you to TransUnion's website, and I've already been here, so I know that this is their paid for credit score. So they're just trying to get you to upsell to get your credit score. But we'll come back to this in a second. We want to finish looking at those credit reports. And now it looks like they do have a method online here where you can buy your credit score. And it does say that the score and analysis is 99 cents. And our credit score may not use the same credit scoring model used by a lender when making a lending decision. Now, one thing that most people don't know, they just think a credit score is a credit score, but a lot of the credit scores that you get online are not the same credit scores that your lender will use. They're usually not even FICO scores, but there are some places where you can get a FICO score online, but most of them are not, and they're letting you know that this score that you're about to pay for is not that type of score. So we're gonna go ahead and cancel this. And right now I went to print my credit score, my credit report, and from what I can see, this credit bureau is only 47 pages, but that is still a whole lot of pages that I would have to print out. And now back over here, we're gonna go to get your next report or finish. Yes, I would like to report. Yes, I would like to return to annualcreditreport.com now. And it looks like for some reason my session timed out, so it looks like you have to get everything done in a certain amount of time. But I'm gonna see if it's gonna let me continue where I left off at. And what it looks like, it's asking me to input that information again, so I'll go ahead and skip the last bureau. But you do have a great idea of how you would actually access those credit reports when you're trying to get it. As you can see, you have to put in your information, and you also have to answer security questions for each credit bureau. And as you can see, each credit bureau individually has an extremely long credit report that you would have to look through. So those are all things to consider. And yes, when you want things for free, you usually have to pay some type of cost to get those things for free. And unfortunately, with those annual credit reports, it looks like it's going to be your time as far as getting through and getting to all the reports and trying to read and decipher all of the information that they give you for those credit reports. So now I wanted to give you guys a good example of a annual credit report and the information that you get in it, so that you can kind of see how they end up being so long and what all is included in it. As you can see here, there is personal information. This is just an Experian credit report, and this is just a sample, but this is personal information that is included here. On the top part of this report, you can see that this area is considered public records, and they have one listed here. One great thing about the annual credit reports is they are very detailed, and if you know what to do with those details and you know what you're looking for, then it may have some very good and useful information that you may need in certain situations, but it's not necessary in every individual's situations. So it's overkill when you're just trying to check your report just to see what's going on with it. But if you need things like your report number, which can be important when you're contacting the credit bureaus, this is a good reason to get them. And there are also certain dates that are very important when it comes to accounts that are on your credit report. And the annual credit reports are going to have usually the most accurate information when it comes to that. Not that other outside resources don't, but you can always know that you have more accurate dates when it comes to certain items. Now, stuff that gets reported to your credit report, a lot of times is reported incorrectly by the creditors and collection companies. So there are a lot of errors in that regard on all reports. But some of these dates, like the last reported date, can be a lot more accurate on these annual credit reports. And again, that's helpful in certain situations depending on what you're dealing with while you're disputing, and depending on if you're trying to apply for something or if you're trying to reach out to a credit bureau about something. But as you can see here, this is one page, and the personal information, which usually on a regular individual and not a sample page, it will be a lot more extra information here. And public record wise, of course, this would be if you had a bankruptcy. They only have one listed here, but if you have more than one, of course, two of those could have taken up this whole page, which is part of the reason why in so many pages because they can only fit so many accounts with all these details on an individual page. And moving on down here, you can see they have credit items. This is supposed to be a regular account that's listed on the credit bureau. You can see that this takes up a lot of space. You can only fit like two or three of these on a page. And right here you can see this is supposed to be a collection company. They have all the details on that, and like I said, they put a lot of details for each account, so they really extend out how long these credit reports can be. And this is just, like I said, an example of some of the information that you may find on your credit report when you get it from annualcreditreport.com, and that is why they can be extremely long. As you saw, the Experian that I pulled up was 97 pages long. So knowing all of this, how tedious it can be to go through getting the reports, it's not too bad, but it is a little bit extra that you have to enter in the security questions multiple times for each credit bureau, and then it's a lot of pages to digest. There are other options out there that are a lot easier, and I'm going to show you some other options as far as monitoring your credit, where you can look at your credit reports on a monthly basis and get your credit reports and scores. Now there are a few different options. It's about 5 different options. One of them is going to be the one that I usually recommend to people, and there are 3 options from the credit bureaus. I'm going to show you each option, what they cost, and which one is a good one to actually use. Okay, so as annualcreditreport.com mentioned on their website, it is a good idea to monitor your credit as frequently as possible, but we also want to get the credit scores without having to pay individually for them. So right now I have pulled up Equifax's website, because I know a lot of people usually go to the credit bureaus individually and try to get their credit reports from them, because of course those are the names that you know. There are hundreds of credit monitoring companies out there, and you may not know which one you should trust. But that's why I'm going to show you guys the credit bureau option, so you can see what they cost, what they give you, and you can see what is going to be the best decision for you to make. And again, at the end, I'm going to show you the very best option to get everything that you need, including credit scores that are going to be FICO scores, which are exactly what lenders use when you try to apply for credit. Seeing any other type of credit scores like Credit Karma scores can be off anywhere from 20 points to about 100 points or more. So you definitely want to stick with FICO scores if you can. So again, right now we're on Equifax's website. They have 3 different options that you can use to monitor your credit. Now, as we can see here, we have the low option, $17 a month. We have one that's about $20 a month, and a family plan that's about $20 a month, which is basically the same as this one. You can just pay this cost per person, so you're gonna see what you get for that money. So if you are on the lower plan, well, actually we're just gonna focus on this plan because it's gonna be the most closely related to the other options that we're gonna look at. You can see here you get 3 bureau credit scores. Now it doesn't say what kind of credit scores you get here, and that's where most people get caught up, and they just think all credit scores are credit scores. And as you can see here, you get those credit scores annually. So for $20 a month, you get 3 bureau credit scores annually. Now, to find out what kind of credit scores they are, you can look right here. It says the Equifax credit score and 3 bureau credit scores are based on the Equifax credit score model. So it's not FICO, it's not Vantage, which is what Credit Karma uses, but it is Equifax's own credit scoring model. And it says third parties use many different types of credit scores and will not use the Equifax credit score or 3 bureau credit scores to assess your credit worthiness. So they let you know that these scores that you are getting here are not the scores that a lender is going to use. So you will be very off if you try to get these credit scores. But just to move on, they have 3 bureau credit reports, so you can see all 3 of your credit reports, but you can only see them annually. Right here they have the Equifax credit score that you can update daily, and the Equifax credit report you can update daily, but that is only the Equifax report, and that is only using the Equifax credit score. So of course that's not going to be what you want, and we can kind of stop there because that is the most important part. We want to be able to look at our credit scores and reports more frequently than annually, because you can get them annually from annualcreditreport.com for free. So why pay $20 a month to get that? You do get other features as well, but because this isn't what we want, we're going to go ahead and go to the next option. Okay, so right now we're back at TransUnion to see what it was that they were talking about in regards to the credit score cost. And as you can see here, they don't give you much details about the different options they have. They do have a free option that is limited, but you can see here that they have unlimited score and report access, updates available daily. And whenever you're dealing with the credit bureaus, whenever they say you can update something daily, usually it's that particular credit bureau score and report. Because you see here, it doesn't say all three, but they did mention all three at this part, which tells me that if they were providing you with all three, they would have said it right there. So basically, this is TransUnion's credit report and score that you're going to be able to get daily, and not the other two bureaus. And we're going to need to see all three to make sure that we're most prepared when it's time to get a house, and to make sure that we're cleaning up all three of our credit reports if we're working on our credit. Now, they do give you some other things here. You can lock and unlock your TransUnion and Equifax credit reports, and you also get $1 million in identity theft insurance. Almost all of the credit monitoring companies give you about $1 million. There are some different options out there, but this is pretty standard stuff, other than the locking and unlocking your credit reports. But you do have to pay $25 a month for this service, and for $25 a month, you're only getting daily updates to your TransUnion credit report and score. And as far as the all three bureaus, you're only getting email updates of critical changes. So if something changes on your credit report, you'll get an email about it, but you still won't be able to see those other credit reports and scores that have changed as a result of this. But you will be alerted. And for $25, that's not what you want, because with Equifax, you could have paid $20 and at least got all three credit reports annually. But of course, that's still missing out on some other pieces that we need as well. And if you look down here, you can see that there are various types of credit scores, and lenders use a variety of different types of credit scores to make lending decisions. The credit score you receive from TransUnion is based on Vantage Score 3.0, which is the same thing that you see on Credit Karma. Again, this is not something that we want to try to use. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next option. So the very next option is going to be at Experian's website. So we're going to see what they offer. So right now you can see that they have a free option, no credit card required, and you get certain things with that. But then they also have a paid option, $5 for the first month, $25 a month after that. So that's the same cost as the TransUnion one, a little bit more than Equifax, but let's see what we get here. So with this one, you're going to get, for that price, your credit reports monitored are going to be all three credit reports. That's going to include inquiries, new accounts, everything that you want to know. But the Experian credit report and FICO score, you can update daily. So daily you can get a new Experian credit report and FICO score. Now the 3 bureau credit report and FICO scores, you're going to be able to get those monthly. So you do get 3 bureau updates with this, and you also do get FICO score updates with this as well on a monthly basis. That is good. That is a lot better than the other two options, especially for the price. You also get score tracking, a score simulator, which a lot of the other ones also come with as well. Locking your credit report, $1 million in identity theft insurance. So you do get quite a few different options for that price. So this one, out of the 3 bureaus, is definitely the best price, the best bang for your buck as far as what you get. But now another place that some people go because they feel like it's the best place to go for FICO scores, and of course it is a good place to go for FICO scores because it is FICO. And this is MyFICO.com. With MyFICO.com, you can see that they have 3 different plans. The plan that is the most closely related to the other ones is $29, so it's more than the other options. But with this one, you only get updates every 3 months. It is for the 3 bureaus, but you will get FICO scores. There are some other benefits that they have as well, especially the fact that you get scores for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. Basically, a lot of people don't know as well that there are different types of FICO scores. There are different versions of the FICO score, and then they have industry specific versions of FICO scores. All of that stuff is very important, and you can see all of those options here on the MyFICO website when you get this. But in order to get the 3 bureaus that we need, and to be able to update it every month, and of course ensure that we're getting FICO scores, you have to pay $40 a month to MyFICO.com. Now, of course, that is a lot more to get the same type of information. You do get some extra stuff that's a little different, but it is a lot more that you do have to pay in order to get that information. So that is what MyFICO score will provide to you in comparison to the credit bureaus. But now I'm going to go ahead and share with you the option that I feel like is the best. And also, if you guys have been enjoying this information so far, if you have any questions, or if you feel like anything I said might have been a little bit off and and you know something different than what I have said, please feel free to write that in the comments. And if you've been enjoying this video, make sure that you like it, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be able to get notifications of any new videos I drop like this. So now, let's move on to the option that I recommend to everybody, MyScoreIQ. Now, the reason why I recommend this one is because it is very good and detailed as far as the credit reports go and the information. Instead of having to, like you did on annualcreditreport.com, have to answer those security questions for all 3 credit bureaus, you only have to enter them in one time, and then you'll get access to all 3 of your credit reports. Now, instead of having to look at all 3 of your credit reports individually in several pages, you can see all 3 of your credit bureaus lined up side by side with each account side by side, so you can see the differences in each account on each credit bureau, because they are not always having the same information on the same account. You may have a car loan that may say that you have a $10,000 balance on one bureau and a $15,000 balance on the next. You never know, but being able to see them side by side makes it very easy to decipher what's going on. There is a very concise information, but still very detailed, so it makes it a lot easier to decipher and to read the way that these credit reports are set up. And you can see here, for the first 7 days you only pay $1. After that, you would only pay $35 a month. That's if you continue beyond the 7-day trial. And with Experian, they did have a really good deal, but it was $5 that you would have to pay initially to get started with that. And with this one, you can check all 3 of your reports and have an easy to look at and read report for just $1. So it does beat it out in that area. Now, you do get $1 million in identity theft insurance, dark web and internet monitoring. You do get a daily monitoring alerts, which are just alerts to let you know of any changes that happen daily. So if there is identity theft issues, you will know about them on a daily basis. And you get to update your credit reports and FICO scores on a monthly basis with this company, which makes it very, very good. And you can see here more details on the 3 bureau reports and FICO scores, the monitoring that they give you, the identity theft monitoring as well, social security number alerts and things like that. You can also have a fraud restoration if need be, and have a dedicated case manager. With that $1 million in identity theft insurance, it covers a stolen funds reimbursement, coverage for lawyers or experts, and coverage for personal expense compensation. Not to mention, they also have the FICO score simulators to simulate how your score may change if certain items were to be changed on your credit report. There are a lot of details on this website, and of course I will link to this one below and the other options below, so that you will have access to these things and be able to use them for yourself or try them out for yourself. Me personally, I use this one, and I also have all of my customers use this one because I know how good of a quality report and how easy it is to read, especially when you're looking at hundreds of credit reports in a day. You want the easiest, most user-friendly option when you're trying to work on credit, and that's what I use, and it makes working on multiple people's credit a lot easier. So I'm sure it would do the same thing for you as an individual only working on your credit report. So now, with that being said, I'm going to give you an example of what a credit report would look like on MyScoreIQ, so you can see the difference in how easy it is to read. Now, as you can see, looking at this credit report, it is very simple and yet detailed. You can see all of the account summary information here. You can also see that accounts are very detailed. You can also see that accounts are very detailed but yet easy to read, because everything is side by side. You can see all the information at once, and it's not a whole bunch of pages that you would have to look at just to figure out what's going on with your credit. And again, this is part of the reason, or a major reason actually, why I recommend this credit report versus some of the others, because of what you get for the money. You have that $1 trial, so you can see your credit reports and see if you want to continue to roll with this one. And like I said, it has been very beneficial to me and my customers while helping them with their credit. So now that's everything that I have to show you about all these different credit reports. Let's get off this computer screen and head back. Okay guys, I am so glad that you stayed around for the end of the video, and I hope you got good value from it. And as you can see, the annual credit reports do still cost you something. They cost you a lot of time and effort to try to get the reports, see the reports, read the reports, and understand them, especially in a situation where you're trying to improve your credit. And the MyScoreIQ option that I shared with you, like I said, is the best option for me and for my customers because of its ease of use. It's detailed information while also being concise and compact. And if you want to try out that $1 7-day trial for yourself, just so you can get a glimpse of your credit reports at least, which everyone should be trying to do, I'm going to have a link to that down in the description. Thank you guys for sticking around through the video, and I'll see you guys next time.